Hey, it's Meg, welcome back to my channel. So for today's junk journal with me, I'm going to show you how you can transform packaging, paper scraps, because we all have paper scraps, and other things that you probably already have around your house into collage ephemera. So beautiful little elements that we can then use in our junk journals, and I'm also going to show you how I use them in my journals as well. So what I thought I would start with is just show you a couple of examples of my older junk journals, and you can sort of see the different upcycled elements within them. So this one is from 2018, and if you do want to see a full flip of this, there is one on my YouTube channel. So I thought I would show you how I mix in these upcycled elements. So even here you can see I have got things from mail, and this pocket here that I have put things in was actually a brochure that had a sort of slot where you would keep a little card in, and I have just used that as a sort of double pocket. So I've got the slot here, and then I have used it to put sort of giant tags in. I've upcycled old postcards. I use paint chips as well that you can get for free from the DIY stores. Again, using sort of paper scraps just to make pockets. And this here is just a tea bag wrapper, and I have just used it as a pocket. This is an older journal insert, and actually everything that was used to make these pages was upcycled, sort of, you know, old book pages, things like that. And you can see how I've then collaged on top of them. I've used different stamps, just different paper scraps. This is an envelope that obviously came in the post that I've used then as a tuck spot. And then in this journal you can see that I have used envelopes that I have got from different packaging that I thought are interesting and would be nice to use in my journal. Again, things from mail, all sorts of different things. So in terms of papers and packaging that you can use, one of the first things I have here is a massive bundle of brown paper that comes in packaging when you order something in a box and they pop the packaging in. Normally this is brown, but this one is a bit of a greyish colour, which admittedly isn't as nice, but sometimes you get brown ones. So I would always save this, and you can see I've got a giant stack of it here, and it's always good to have on hand. And I've then just gone round and collected a sort of pile of different paper scraps just to show you the kind of things that you could use. So these are just from a notepad. We've got different cut-offs, old book papers. It's a glassine envelope that I've obviously ordered something in, and we can repurpose this. This is a page from a paint sample book, and you can also use paint chips as well, like I said. More old book papers. These are just some scraps from my own personal stash. You've got supplies that you're guilty of hoarding and not using. Now is the time to use them. Again, old book papers, more scraps. This is some beautiful old wallpaper that Patricia actually sent me in a Happy Mail, and this is really, really beautiful, so I'm going to use that. More scraps. We've got some just tracing paper, but material like this often comes in packaging. This is really interesting. This is literally the backing of a sticker, and obviously it's got a shiny side on this side, but this side is completely pretty much matte, so we can use that. More scraps, some fabric cut-offs. Again, I think this is from Patricia. We've got a brown paper bag. Find things that are plain. So for example, like this book page that has a plain element, that would be really good to use. I've then got a collection of some envelopes that come in the post, especially if they've got these transparent little windows. Then another classic is obviously cereal boxes or other cardboard boxes that you get once you've finished with something. You can totally upcycle this. So this is just a short section that I have pulled out, and I quite like the shape of this here, so I think we can do something interesting with this. Another piece of packaging, this was from a plant that I got. And then here I have my leftovers from the junk journal that I was making. If you haven't seen my junk journal tutorial, then I will leave a link down below, but definitely once you have finished your journal and you've got spare papers or you've got offcuts, no matter how small, definitely keep them, and it's something that we can then use in our journals. So the first thing I'm going to do on my junk journal page is lay down a base of collage materials, and this is something I like to do just to give the page a bit more interest. So what we're going to do is come over to this paper stash that we have, and I am just going to pick out some plainer elements that I can use in my journal as a background element. So things like this and this would be nice. Maybe even another scrap of that. When you're doing this stage, think about plain big elements that you can have. Try not to pick things that have too much detail just at this stage. We're going to focus on larger elements. And what I'm going to do is just take some sections of this, and then I will glue them into little clusters on our page just to create some interest to work off the top of. So I kind of use this as sort of inspiration for where I'm going to take my page based on how I have assembled things on my page. So I think I'm going to pop them maybe on this side. So you don't need to go overboard, it's just a few pieces, and once you're happy with the placement you can then glue them down. So what I'm going to do next is use this plastic envelope just to create a tip-in that has a pocket on my page, and then I'm also going to decorate it just to remove some of this paper that's been left on there. So I'll show you an example in my journal that I've done. So this was another plastic envelope, so I've just tipped it in, collaged onto the front, and then you can see then I've used it just to add some things into my journal, and it's just a really nice way of adding things in without covering your page and giving you more room to journal and write on. What I've just done is cut the top off of this just so that we've got a nice easy accessible pocket, and we just want to cover up the top of this. So this is another of my sort of DIY hacks for you, is I'm going to make a label out of the junk pile that I showed you previously. So I'm just going to grab, you can either use old book papers, and the end papers are really good for this, or you can use envelopes, anything that has a plain section on it. And what you want to do is grab a stamp, and you can find these that have sort of borders on them, or you could draw your own. So there's no need to have a stamp, you could just draw out your own border, but I've got this stamp that I really like and I think it would be really nice to use this. So what I'm going to do is just ink it up, and the beauty of this is obviously you can stamp as many labels as you want onto all sorts of different textured papers. So I'm just going to take this and just press down like so, and then you can also do it on this paper as well. So this is just a really nice way of using up different textured papers, different colours, and you can use obviously something that suits whatever journal spread you're doing. So there we go, and then obviously all I'll do is just cut this out. So I'm probably just going to cut round the shape of this one because it's quite a unique shape. So there we have our scrap paper labels, really simple and easy. And what you could also do, like I said, if you don't have a stamp to hand or you want maybe a different design, is just simply grab a pen or a pencil. You could use like a fine liner, or you could use just a black pen, whatever you want, and you can just draw out boxes or circles, and they don't have to be perfect, so you could just draw like this, or maybe you want an oval, and then you could maybe doodle on them as well, so you could add your own flowers or leaves like this going up the side, and this is just a really great way to use up these scraps of papers and make unique journal elements that obviously no one else is going to have in their journal because you've drawn them. So that is another option as well. I'm going to use this label here because I really love this design. I'm not going to quite cover the scrap paper, so I'm just going to use a book page and just tear out a section that is going to be long enough, so I need it a bit longer. There we go. And I'm just going to add this on underneath. There we go. And then I'm just going to overlap this slightly. Even if yours doesn't have something to cover up, it's really nice to embellish these. decorate this a bit more and give it a bit more colour. So I'm just gonna tear off a scrap and maybe add that there. There we go, like that. And I think that works quite nicely. And then you can write the date, or you know, do a little bit of journaling there. Another way to use these labels is just within your journal pages for journaling spots. So you'll see here in my Stylogy, I have used this and stamped it onto a book page and then used it as a little journaling spot. So it's really versatile, and you can do this with all sorts of different materials. So really experiment and see what you can come up with. Then what we're going to do is just tip this into our page. And if you don't want to use washi tape, you can use sellotape, and then you obviously won't see the join as much, but I quite like this pop of yellow actually on my page. And then you'll also want to tape it on the other side as well. And there you have a pocket ready to use. So you could add a tag inside, or different bits of paper. Maybe someone has sent you a letter that you want to include in there. There's all sorts of different things that you could add into this.
Searching for something that ain't lost. Have we got it? Our lines crossed. We're wasting time on stuff that doesn't really matter, while wishing for something better. I try to fix things that weren't broken, misunderstandings and words unspoken. We fall apart, and I won't dare to say, do you feel the same way? Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time. Same way, then don't pretend that everything's okay. Don't string me along the way you do. Just let me get over you. Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time, no. I don't wanna waste my time, no. Maybe you don't wanna know, you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time, no.
I think I'm happy with this page for now. All that's left for me to do is come in and add my writing, and I really like to make sure that I've got different spots to write in my journal. So I could come in with a white pen up here. I've got a little journaling spot here. I can add the date here. Again, I've got my my tuck spot here that I can add some journaling in as well, maybe if I don't want anyone to see it. There's a little space here for me to journal, and then also here I think a white pen would look really nice, and even here as well. So I really like sectioning off different journaling spots with my collage. So I hope you found this useful and that you enjoyed seeing this page come together. and some of the tips obviously on upcycling the materials. So my challenge for you is to go ahead, raid your stash of papers, make sure you save all your packaging, and see what you can use in your junk journal. So that is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.